Howdy partners, it's your old buddy the Reddit writer. Welcome back to the Reddit Ranch. Come in and sit a spell and listen to the mighty fine tales I gotta tell. Now on with our first story. It's about a young man who's not taking the end of his 2-month-long relationship very well. Really? A whole 2 months?
Confused if I should break no contact after mutual breakup with girlfriend. Some backstories: I'm a 27-year-old man, and I was recently let go by a girl I had been seeing for 2 months. It was a short time, but I could honestly see a future with her. We both cared for each other a lot and liked spending time with each other. We were inseparable. Then this past Sunday she has a chat with me and tells me that she isn't 100% sure that this relationship is the right thing to be comfortable with this type of commitment and attachment. She asked me to let me go, and it broke me. All of this while we were still both clearly still in love with each other. We sent each other a letter a few hours after this conversation, me telling her that I truly appreciate the time we spent together and that I'm not saying goodbye fully, but I will for now if it will make her happy. She responded saying she is also thankful and that she is sorry for being so up and down with the relationship, that I don't deserve it and that she will always remember me. The truth is that I don't care about it being so up and down, and that every time I think about the words, "I'll always remember you," it breaks me to the point where I can't accept something so good ended because I wasn't able to control the speed of progression. I want to message her and tell her that I miss her, that it feels like a part of me has been ripped out and that we can try it a different way. She always said there is no in-between with us. It was always either all or nothing. But I never tried to have that in-between. I liked her so much I wanted it all. And so did she. I know it's a horrible idea to message her and tell her these things after the close-ended message of, "I'll always remember you. I care about you." It hurts to say goodbye. I'm trying to do the right thing. But I'm at a point where I don't care. I just want her back and I want this to stop hurting so bad. Should I message her and tell her these things?
Well son, I'm sorry if this will be hard for y'all to hear, but I reckon you should just leave her be. Y'all's relationship lasted a mere 2 months, and y'all rushed it. Keep in mind that she broke up with you. She all might have gotten scared off by how fast it was moving. And if y'all send her the text like y'all's planning, she may consider it to be harassment, or worse, stalking. My advice? Take what y'all have learned from this relationship, and make sure y'all don't repeat the same mistakes in your next one. Our next one is from a little lady that thought she all was going to a party. It turned out to be a surprise party of sorts for her. Was it a surprise birthday party? Nope. Was it a surprise graduation party? Nope. It was a surprise wedding. Well, I reckon she was plenty surprised.
AITA for leaving my surprise wedding because I felt blindsided. I'm a 30-year-old woman. And last week, I was invited to a supposedly fancy party by my longtime boyfriend, Mark. We had been dating for 5 years, and while we had discussed marriage before, there were no immediate plans for a wedding. Excited about the event, I dressed up in my best attire and arrived at the designated venue. As I entered the grand hall, I was completely taken aback to see all of our family, friends, and acquaintances gathered, eagerly waiting. It turns out, Mark had orchestrated an elaborate surprise wedding for us without my knowledge. Everyone erupted into applause as I stood there, shocked and overwhelmed. I just felt a mix of emotions. While I love Mark and had dreamed of our future together, the idea of getting married without any prior discussion or consent felt like a breach of trust. So I pulled Mark aside and tried to express my concerns and reservations about the surprise wedding. I explained that I wanted a say in the planning process, to be part of the decision-making, and to have the chance to prepare mentally and emotionally for such a significant milestone in our lives. However, Mark dismissed my concerns, saying that he thought it would be a romantic gesture, and that I would be thrilled. In that moment, I faced a difficult choice: go along with the surprise wedding, putting on a smile despite feeling unsettled, or stand up for my autonomy and voice my true feelings. I ultimately made the decision not to proceed with the surprise wedding, much to the disappointment and confusion of our guests. Now, I find myself at odds with Mark, our families, and even some of our friends who believe I overreacted and spoiled a beautiful moment. However, I firmly believe that a marriage should be a joint decision, with open communication and shared expectations. Everyone's excuse for this is I have always talked about marrying Mark. And again, the problem isn't marrying him, the problem is not having any say in my wedding. Mark thought I'd appreciate it, because I always spoke about how stressful planning a wedding must be. Yes, I think it's stressful, it is, but I'd still like planning one. After this whole ordeal, everyone asked if Mark and I were ending things, in which I replied no. I emphasized towards them and Mark I still wanted to marry him, and most feel like this is making me more of an a-hole since I just wasted a perfectly fine wedding. So AITA for refusing to attend my own surprise wedding, even though it was intended as a romantic gesture. Edit. I love surprises, it's a thing everyone has known me to love. Mark, knowing that, the fact I wanted to marry him, and said wedding planning was stressful, thought a surprise wedding would be perfect. A surprise engagement is bland, because it will always be a surprise but not a wedding, lol. He threw this wedding for the surprise, but explained how in a couple days we could do a courthouse wedding to make it legal. This was his only way to surprise me. I love spontaneity, but legal marriage or not, I wanted a say in my wedding. To choose the perfect date, to choose my bridesmaids, to pick out my cake. Again, due to these thoughts everyone thinks I'm the a-hole, because I could have went along with the party, and do a redo legal wedding. But again, I felt blindsided and confused, so I left.
Wait a second, ma'am, he threw y'all a surprise wedding? Not a surprise birthday party, or even a surprise engagement party, but an actual surprise wedding? Wow, I reckon that's a new one to me. It kinda reminds me of that scene from Disney's Beauty and the Beast, when Gaston tried to surprise Belle with a wedding. Of course, it didn't turn out too well for him either. But no, I don't think you're a cow patty. A surprise wedding is a bit over the top. However, I don't really reckon Mark is a cow patty either. I mean, his heart was definitely in the right place. But he probably should have thought it through a bit more, and asked himself if this was something you really would have wanted. Next we have one posted by a little filly who feels bad for asking a customer to try to quiet their crying baby.
AITA for asking a woman to make her baby stop crying? I work at a moderately sized barbecue restaurant. Often, we are understaffed and way more busy than you would expect us to be. I've worked there for about 3 years, and never has anyone had a complaint about me while I've been working. Yesterday, a family of 3 came in with a baby. They've been to the restaurant before, not exactly regulars, but I see them maybe once a month. They are a lovely couple, however, the baby, who is 1 year old, has the strongest pair of lungs in the world. This kid could be a voice actor in a horror movie. His screams are eardrum shattering and constant. Every time they come in, I leave with a headache. If that weren't bad enough, it constantly annoys the other customers, and multiple times they will ask me to do something about it. I'm just a server, so I never thought it was my place. The worst part is, the parents never seem to care about the screaming, and will in fact stay longer than 2 hours on occasion. They have literally cleared out a room before, and sometimes people who haven't even eaten yet will decide to leave instead of sitting through it. However, they are usually super nice people, and they tip really well. Yesterday I went into the back room complaining I had a headache and begun to vent about how none of my customers were tipping, and they were all in bad moods because of the baby. My manager told me to go politely ask them to take the baby outside or calm it down, and though I was nervous I walked over to their table and said, "Hey, I'm sorry about this, but customers are complaining about the screaming. I know there isn't much you can do about it, but if you could calm him down that would be awesome." I was kind of lackadaisical about it, and although I was cranky and had a headache, I didn't know how to make it sound polite. I wasn't angry, just tired. The mom immediately scowled at me and turned red, picked up the baby out of the chair, and stomped off outside. I felt bad but went about my day. The husband paid without a word, and that was over. Well, later on that day, my coworker sent me a screenshot of our reviews, And lo and behold, the lady had taken to Yelp to voice her opinion on the situation. She said she had never been more embarrassed and hurt in her life, that I was an awful person. Our establishment was anti-family togetherness, and we should all be ashamed of ourselves for doing that to a mother who was struggling with watching over her baby and spending time away from home with her family. She said the other customers should have told them if they felt the same, instead of us being so unprofessional and kicking them out. My coworker thought it was a riot, but I actually felt quite bad. I don't know much about babies, but I didn't mean to ruin the family's day. I think I might be the a-hole for asking them to make their baby stop crying, which could have been out of their control.
Well, ma'am, it is true that sometimes a crying younging is beyond a parent's control, but do y'all know what is not beyond their control? Taking their baby there to begin with. Once their baby started to cry, they should have got up, asked for some doggy bags, and left. It's not that tough. My wife and I have 2 youngings, and that is what we did if they started getting fussy when they were babies. It's the only thing that you can really do in that situation. It's unrealistic to expect either the customers, or the restaurant for that matter, to have to put up with their kid. And no, you ain't a cow patty. Our last story is from a poor woman who's married to a tenderfoot that is a mite bit of a control freak. The guy won't even let her leave the house without him.
My husband won't let me go outside when he's gone. My husband and I are in our 30s, and he drives for Uber for a living. He's gone mostly during the day, and sometimes at night. We have a child, and I am a stay-at-home mom, and I like to go outside to get some fresh air and sunshine. But he has told me that I am not allowed to go outside unless he is home. My husband is very narcissistic and controlling, manipulative and verbally abusive. But I wanted to ask, is this a normal behavior for men? My husband loves the Lord, but he sure doesn't act like it. He tells me to wait until he gets home to go outside. But what ends up happening is that he is so tired from working that he'll just go to sleep whenever he gets home. So, I end up not being able to go outside for days on end, and I feel very controlled and deprived of my natural rights. He made me feel bad about wanting to go outside yesterday because there are mosquitoes outside sometimes. I need some sunshine. We live in a relatively safe neighborhood, and it's a court. Please let me know if this is common. Is this something that men typically tell their wives to protect them? Really looking for an honest insight from someone who is married or in a long-term relationship. What I'm dealing with is someone who limits me very extensively. I only get to drive the car maybe 10 times a year maximum. He won't let me go to the store, so I have to order all the groceries online. There's always some reason for me to be restricted, it seems.
No ma'am, that is not in any way normal. He ain't treating y'all like a wife, this cow patty is treating y'all like a prisoner. I have a wife of 17 years, and she can go wherever she wants, and whenever she wants. Why? Because she's my wife, and my partner, and I trust her completely. She is not my prisoner. This level of control is completely wrong. And it got nothing to do with him trying to protect y'all. I'm surprised that he doesn't physically lock you in the house. My advice? Leave. Take your kid and get out. It'll only get worse. Y'all deserve better than this controlling cow patty. Well, I plumb reckon that's all the time we got today, but if y'all like this here video then please, hit like and subscribe, it'll really make this old cowpoke smile. And if y'all got anything to say, then feel free to tell me what's on your mind down in the comments. Until y'all come back to the Reddit Ranch. Adios.